Namaste and welcome to this yin yoga practice where today we'll be focusing on the shoulders, the hips and the heart. So as always, I invite you to bring along your props, a folded blanket, a bolster if you have one and blocks if you have some. Otherwise, a couple of pillows from your bed or some cushions are a great alternative. And as always, we'll begin sitting comfortably on your mat. So whatever position for your legs, what feels comfortable for you, go ahead and take it. When you're ready, closing your eyes or softening the gaze. So I always begin my classes with a short grounding. And I use this opportunity to let go of anything that's happened before this practice and to leave aside any to-do list or anything that might be waiting for me on the other side of this practice. So right now, in this present moment, your only priority right now is you. And checking in and seeing how you feel today. How the body, the mind, and the heart feel. And I don't want you to judge or criticize anything that might have come up for you just then. We're not trying to change anything either. You are welcome just as you are. Then when you feel ready, we'll go ahead and blink open the eyes and we'll begin with a seated warm-up. So if you want to stay with your legs crossed, that's fine. When we come into the forward fold, you'll bring your hands down to the ground and bow your head. Otherwise, you can fold your legs underneath you. And when we come into that forward fold, you can come all the way down into a child's pose. We'll begin with the arms alongside the body, the fingertips tapping the ground. As you inhale, we'll sweep the arms overhead, gazing up in between the hands. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the shoulders, pushing them out to the sides, chin towards your chest. Inhaling the hands back to the shoulders, rolling the shoulders away from the ears as you lift your chin. And we'll exhale to round through the spine, pushing the hands away from the body. As you inhale, we'll lift the body, the arms and the gaze. And as you exhale, we'll come forward into the fold of your choice. We'll stay here for one cycle of breath. And we'll go again. Inhale to lift the body, the arms and the gaze. Exhale, hands to the shoulders and out to the sides, chin towards chest. Inhaling the hands back to the shoulders, rolling them away from the ears as you lift the gaze. And exhale to round through the spine, really arching those shoulder blades. Inhale to lift the arms and gaze. And exhale, coming forward into your fold. Again, one cycle of breath. Beautiful. Last time, inhale to lift the body, the arms and gaze. Exhale, hands to shoulders and out to the sides, chin towards chest. Inhale the hands back to the shoulders, rolling them away from the ears. And we'll exhale to push the arms away from the body, chin towards chest. Inhale the arms overhead, lifting the gaze. And exhale, coming forward into your fold. And we'll take 3 cycles of breath here. Beautiful. After your 3rd breath, we'll lift up to seated, and I will demonstrate our first shape, which is a melting heart. So working into the shoulders for this one. So we begin on all 4s. And I like to use my blanket to rest my forehead on, because otherwise my nose feels a bit squashed into the mat. We'll begin on all 4s with the knees roughly underneath the hips. We'll walk the hands forward and we'll melt our heart down towards the ground. So as you can see, my forehead is coming to the blanket. My hips are lifted. And if you feel like you're falling forward here, then just bring the hands back a little bit so the hips come a bit further back. And if over time the shoulders feel a bit uncomfortable, you can move your hands away from one another. Personally, that doesn't help me. So I like to bend my elbows. So you might bend them just a little bit, or you might bend them so that the hands stack and you can rest your forehead upon them. And to come out of the shape, we will sink the hips all the way back to come into a child's pose. When you're ready, coming up onto all 4s, getting your prop ready, walking the hands forward, and then melting the heart down towards the ground. So you might like to deepen the breath here. Noticing how, as you inhale, the belly expands. You might feel it pressing against your legs. And as you exhale, feel a softening, a surrender. So in all of the shapes today, I'll give some variations and how you can use your props to support you. But if, whilst you're in the shape, your body is craving a modification that I perhaps haven't suggested, then I invite you to do just that. So give your body exactly what it needs and what it's asking for. We're halfway into the holding of melting heart. Last 3 breaths. And at the end of your 3rd breath, slowly sinking your hips back into a child's pose. And you might like to slide your hands down the mat so that the arms come either side of the legs and the shoulders can really drop away from one another. And noticing the sensations around the shoulder blades. When you feel ready, we'll sit ourselves up. And I'll demonstrate our next pose, which is half butterfly. So this pose, beginning to work into the hips. And if you like, I would invite you to sit on the edge of a folded blanket or maybe the edge of a thin pillow. For me, this helps to lift my hips so I can fold forward a little bit. It's up to you whether you want to fold forward or not. So I'm going to bring my left leg out to the side. I'm going to bend my right knee and bring that foot in towards the body or in towards the thigh of the inner thigh of the left leg. So it's entirely up to you what angle you have your left leg at. Working into the hips here. An option is to, if you have a bolster, you might like to use it to stay sitting up. You might hug your bolster and rest your chin. Or over time, you might like to fold forward. So you might have your bolster or pillows out in front of you to rest your forearms on. If over time your head feels heavy on your neck, you can bend your elbows and rest your head in your hands. Or another option is to use your blocks as well. So you might pile them up, whatever height feels comfortable for you. And when you're ready, we'll begin. So left leg out to the side, right knee bent, that foot coming in towards the body. Then when you're ready, either choosing to sit up or fold forward. And taking a scan through the body. Drawing your awareness to your hips and your knees. And if in your left leg you're feeling any sensations in the knee, then an option is to bring the leg in a little bit. Or you might like to place a prop underneath that left leg so the knee is bent slightly. And closing your eyes if you haven't already done so. Drawing your awareness to your breath. If your mind begins to feel busy or swirly, then come back to your breath. Mind has a tendency to focus on the past or on the present, projecting into the future. The breath can be your anchor to give your mind something to focus on. Last 3 breaths. And at the end of your 3rd breath, we'll lift the body if you are folded forward. Walk the hands in to sit up. We'll just remove any props from out in front. You might like to use your hands to scoop your legs together, and you might rest here for a few moments in stillness, or you might stretch your legs out in front, leaning back on the hands. And then if you feel like you like some gentle movement, you might sway the feet from side to side. You might even give the legs a little bit of a rub here as well. And then when you're ready, we'll do the same on the other side. So we've been holding these poses for 3 minutes. I'm going to send my right leg out to the side, bring my left leg in, and notice if you need to bring that right leg in or out a bit further. We don't tend to be symmetrical on our left and right side. And when you're ready, closing the eyes, choosing to stay sitting up, or over time, you have the option to fold forward slightly. And again, scanning through the body, through the legs and hips, checking whether you've met your edge. So not trying to find the deepest expression possible, because we want to make sure the muscles are relaxed. So we're targeting the ligaments, the connective tissues of the body in our yin yoga practice. So we're just coming into the pose where we start to feel something and holding there. As you stay marinating in the shape, over time your edge might move. You might fold forward a little bit more. You might move the leg outwards, or your edge might move in the opposite direction. You might need to back off a little bit. Last 3 breaths. Beautiful. And just like before, we begin to come out of the shape. So we'll move any props, scoop our legs in, maybe keeping the soles of the feet on the earth or sending the legs out long. Noticing that balance in the hips, how they both feel equal now. How that stress slowly leaving the body, but that openness and sense of expansion remains. And if you'd like some gentle movement, just like before, you can go ahead and take that now as I demonstrate our final pose for the heart, called open heart, or a variation which you could take is reclined bound angel. So we'll bring our bolster or stack your pillows long ways behind you. My bolster is quite thick, so I like to bring a block underneath to lift the head end up to me. Now, options for the legs. So open heart will keep the legs straight, and the feet can be whatever distance apart feels comfortable for you. Or if you'd like, you can come into butterfly legs. So the soles of the feet are together and the knees are dropping away from one another. We'll come to lay back over our bolster or pillows. We'll bring the hands above our heart, and then we'll open our wings, open our heart. And if over time this feels a bit much, you're beginning to feel tingling or burning or pain in the armpits or shoulders, you can bring the hands down a little bit to release some of that tension. To come out of the shape, we'll roll onto our sides, we'll remove our prop, and then we'll come to lay on our backs. So when you're ready, we'll begin setting up. So our bolster is a long ways behind us. We'll sit our bottom up against the back. We'll go ahead and lay down, the hands coming above the heart, and then we'll open our wings, close our eyes. We'll allow our bodies to be held and supported by the props beneath you. Allowing yourself to let go. This is our final shape before our relaxation. Letting go and softening the chest and the belly. Allow these areas to soften. And notice the gentle movement to the rhythm of your natural breath. Maybe noticing the pauses between the inhales and exhales, the exhales and inhales. We have 1 minute left. Last 3 breaths. At the end of your 3rd breath, bring the arms in a little bit. We'll roll over to one side, any side. We'll roll the prop or move the prop out of the way. We'll come to lay down on our back. We'll allow the body to rest for a couple of breaths as that stress integrates into the body. And now we'll set up for Shavasana. So if you'd like to use a pillow underneath your head, maybe a blanket to cover you over, or a prop underneath your knees, you can go ahead and set that up for yourself now. And then when you feel ready, we'll close our eyes. And again, feeling your body, your back, resting into the surface beneath you. And feeling the surface beneath you rising up to meet your body. Allowing all 10 toes to relax into your feet. Feet relaxing into the lower legs. Lower legs resting into the upper legs. Upper legs resting into beingness. All 10 fingers resting into the hands. Hands resting into the forearms. Forearms resting into the upper arms. The upper arms resting into beingness. Drawing your awareness to your hips. Allow them to feel heavy. Letting go of any tension, gripping or holding the muscles of the pelvis and abdomen. Allowing these areas to feel nice and soft. Lower back, middle back and upper back. Resting. Relaxation traveling up through the neck and all the way to the crown of the head. Muscles of the face softening. The jaw drops and softens. I invite you to stay here for as long as you like. I'm going to go ahead and end our practice today, bringing my hands together, my thumbs to my third eye. Thank you so much for joining me in this yin yoga practice today. May your day be happy, healthy, and filled with love.